Interesting poll that has just come up through an exclusive from iNews here, that Labour now lead the Tories on every major issue facing the country, piling more pressure on the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. Let's look into the numbers, guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here. We're an exclusive from iNews, and the headline is Labour now leads the Tories on every major issue facing the country, piling more pressure on Rishi Sunak. Twice as many people trusted Labour with the help of the cost of living crisis than the Conservatives. This is really bad for the Conservatives, but at the same time, we're at a point where I feel like they don't care. They really don't care, the Conservative Party. They don't care at all about us, and I think if they really did, they would be doing more to win voters over, and it just feels like they just don't care. I mean, even from the right-wing perspective, if you look at the right-wing media, it just feels like they're just trying to distract the public from everything, and people don't want distractions, they want solutions, and there's not been solutions. It's been people's problems. People are being ignored, and it feels like people have been ignored for a long time, and there is a sense that people want some kind of change. Now obviously I've held my criticism towards Labour, and there have been many articles for it, and it doesn't mean that if Labour gets a free pass into number 10 at the next general election, doesn't mean that Labour should necessarily be allowed to just walk straight through. They need to be held to account too. However, at this point, I think anyone will want to try something different at this point, considering the state that the whole of the United Kingdom is in. Labour is ahead of the Conservatives on every single major issue facing the UK, including the cost of living crisis, the wider economy, immigration, and the NHS, a new poll shows. So even on immigration, in a further sign of the troubles the Tories find themselves in, the party lags behind Labour on each of the main policy areas, as well as the headline voting intention. The polling conducted by BMG Consulting for I shows on the major issues voters trust Labour more, although in several other pressing matters the public are still wholly undecided in choosing none of the above. On the cost of living crisis, more than double the proportion of respondents said Labour would be the best place to tackle the issue, with 35% choosing the party over just over 17% of the Tories. Some 31% said none of the political parties are well suited to manage it. So here are some of the numbers. So the source is from the BNP. So which of the following political parties do you trust the most to handle each of the following issues? Okay, so they've got here all the parties here. They've even got reform in here. So in terms of economy, 21 for the Conservatives, 31 for Labour, 7 on Liberal Democrats, 4 on Reform, 4 on Green, 2 SNP, and 31 on none of the above. In terms of cost of living crisis, 17 on the Conservatives, 35 for Labour. So it's an even wider margin there when it comes to the cost of living, because it feels, the opinions from this poll indicates that people feel that the Conservatives have abandoned them when it comes to this cost of living crisis. 6 there on Liberal Democrats, 6 on Reform, 3 on Green, 2 on SNP, 31 on none of the above. So you can see for most of them there's still quite a huge amount of people that may be undecided. Immigration, 18 on Conservatives, 27 on Labour. So people are kind of like, let's see somebody else do it differently. Liberal Democrats 7, Reform on 8. We will expect more people when it comes to dealing with immigration, more people will vote for Reform given their rhetoric. 3 on Green, 1 on SNP, 35 on none of the above. Healthcare, National Healthcare Service, guys. 14 on the Conservatives. So this is the lowest number on all of those numbers there you can see for Conservatives. 38 for Labour, 7 on the Liberal Democrats, 5 on Reform, 4 on Green, 2 on SNP, and 30 on none of the above. So this is the highest one there. You can see on the highest number there, 38. More people are inclined to trust Labour with the National Healthcare Service than anything else, that is for sure. Crime, 20%, 20 on. This was a poll of 1,524 adults, just for for those who are wondering. 14 on Conservatives, 30. I'm looking at the wrong one there. Crime, start again. 20 on Blue. Labour 29. Crime, this is on crime. Liberal Democrats 6. Reform 6. 2 on Green. 2 on SNP. 34 of none of the above. Housing 16, so very low again for the Conservatives when it comes to dealing with housing. They've been in power for 13 years. They've nowhere near hit their housing targets whatsoever. People are struggling. There's not enough homes, so the cost of buying a home has gone up as well. Yes, it's down to inflation and other factors as well, but if there's not enough homes, they're just going to cost them more. Labour 35 there. Liberal Democrats 7, Reform 6, Green 5, SNP 2, 31 of none of the above. And finally, on the EU and Brexit, this is an interesting one. So it's still 20 on the Conservatives there, 27 on Labour. So more people would favour Labour with the EU Brexit deal. 7 on Liberal Democrats, 8 on Reform, 4 on Green, 2 on SNP, and 32 on none of the above. When it came to the NHS, the second most pressing concern for voters, again, Labour was well ahead of the Conservatives for 38%, correspondents choosing Labour, while just 40% named the Tories well behind none of the above on 30%. Respondents named the fixer of the wider economy as their next priority, with Labour 10 points ahead of Tories in this metric. 31% named Sir Keir Starmer's party as the best to manage the economy, the same proportion as those who said none of the political parties could fix it. What will particularly concern Rishi Sunak is that Tories are prone to calling themselves a party of home ownership and the party of law and order, but they are again behind, on both issues. More than double the proportion of people, 35%, said Labour should be trusted to deal with the housing crisis, as opposed to the Tories' 16% on crime. The Conservatives were 9 points behind Labour with 29%, to the Tories 20%. It is just one poll, but the vast majority of polls, as you guys know, are in those directions. That is for sure. And clearly, as I've said at the start of the video about this, the Conservatives are not looking at a solution to these. They're not having clear-cut solutions, clear-cut policies on what they're dealing with this. Their rhetoric seems to be, we've invested £100 billion or £50 million or something million pounds into this. It's always about investment, what they've invested in it. But there's never details. And it's the same, unfortunately, with Labour. But the difference between the Conservatives and Labour is that people are willing to give Labour a chance because they're fed up of the Conservatives. Now, while some people, like myself, are very sceptical of the Labour Party, at the same time, we do need a new government in charge. The one we have right now is failed to deliver any kind of standards to us. Well, not only do we have a cost of living crisis, we have a crumbling NHS, we have an uncontrolled immigration crisis, we have a failed education system, we have our crime out of control in this country. Everything is going up in terms of costs. We have an inflation is out of control, and we need someone to get a grip on all of this. And the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, is failing to get a grip on anything. Literally anything. He's not getting a grip on anything, which is infuriating people. And people wanted solutions. You know, people want to know what they're going to do. Both parties aren't really very clear on that, in my opinion. But people are willing to vote Labour if it means something for the better. What do you guys make of these polls? Are you surprised by any of them? Let me know down in the comments below. Like, share and subscribe as always. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you all very, very soon.